Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Shri Nanda Nandanam Bande Radhika Chadanadvayam Gopi Jana Samayuktam Vrindavana Manoharam Bhakti Vihina Parada Lakshe Chiptischa Kamadi Taranga Madhye Kripamay Tvam Saranam Prapadye Brinde Namaste Charanaravinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What's your name, Rosalind?
Rosalind, yes. Sorry, I'm late.
Are you comfortable on the ground? You want to sit in the chair?
Well, I'm good on the ground.
Sit down. So, first of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnupada Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj, our Rupanuga Guru Varga, all devotees, guests, thank you for coming. So, we were a little talking with our guests, what is this life? We come in this body, a few years, we collect many relationships, many properties, money, this, that, then, without warning, vacate. You have to give up this body. Therefore, when everyone dies, you see, hand is like that. Means cannot take anything with us. And all babies, when born, their hands are like that. But you open, also nothing. So this is one lesson. No? Our goal of life is not just to collect things in this world. Like the honeybee, he's also collecting. Very busy all summer. He's collecting. But when the thief, the bear, at the means time, he takes everything and leaves the bee with nothing. So, tonight I want to tell one history from the Vedic teachings. India is called Bharat. Even today, you look on the money. Hey, don't please, little softly, no. Even today, you look on the money of India, it says Bharatvash. India is actually a British name. But real name is Bharat. So, it was named after one great king. So Bharat, nowadays kings just control a little area. No? But Bharat was so powerful. He was controlling the earth planet. This is many hundreds of thousands of years ago. Very powerful. He had unlimited wealth. You know this history of Bharat Maharaj? He had unlimited wealth, power, respect, beautiful wife, affectionate children, but he felt no taste in this. Why? Uttama Shloka Lalasa. One nice name of Krishna, Uttama Shloka. The verses of the scriptures describe, the beautiful verses of the scriptures describe only Krishna. Therefore, one name of Krishna was Uttam Shloka. So he had so much attachment to Krishna. We have so much attachment to this world. Therefore, when we experience some reverses, because the nature of this world is temporary, nothing lasts forever. And when you lose something you're attached to, then you suffer. So attachment is bad only if you put it in the wrong place. You put it in this world, you'll suffer. But attachment given to God, this never causes suffering. No? So Uttama Shloka Lalasa. Lalasa is a very nice word. It means greed. Greed is not a bad thing. For example, all of you came from a long distance to hear something. That means you had some greed. Yes, let me hear something. No? If you didn't have greed, you wouldn't have come. If you had more greed for like watching the television, or maybe there's a sports match or grandchildren coming around, that greed could not have brought us here. So greed and attachment is not bad, but you put in the wrong place, then it's bad. Not like, I guess, a knife. A knife is not good or bad, but it can be used for good and bad. So because he had so much attachment for Krishna, he left everything. Voluntarily. At the time of death, we have to leave everything. But what you call early retirement. So his renunciation, there's Indian scriptures use very not poetic things. No? His renunciation is called Malavat Tyag. Malavat means stool. Like when you go to the bathroom in the morning and you empty your bowels, how you feel? One type of relief. One type of happiness. So his renunciation was like that. And once you flush it, you never, oh, such a nice stool, now you have to go. When you flush it and get rid of it, you feel relief. Right, oh my God, get out of here. So his renunciation was like that. Giving up, he felt relief. And after giving up, he not thought about it again. So that's why it's called Malavat Tyag. So he renounced everything. And he went to the Himalayas. There's one holy river, it's still there now, called the Gandaki. So he was living there. Means ekant, means alone. Because if you're with someone, what, like Lakshman, what, isn't it true, Lakshman? You're with someone, what do you end up talking about? Trump or soy boys or something. Two people mean there must be useless conversation. Must come. Like two bangles, no, on the hand, some argument must come when they clash. So he chose a solitary life. 3 times a day he would take bath in that holy river and he would meditate on Krishna. So his meditation was quite deep. So it said his heart was like a lake. No waves, no ripples, no disturbance. And Krishna was like a swan on that lake. It means he could remember Krishna. Without disturbance, without vigya, without disturbance. And when he would remember Krishna's sweetness, then tears would flow down. When he would chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, then tears would flow down. It means he reached a very high stage. No material attachment and absorption in God, Krishna. But one day, what mistake he made, he was alone. So that also can be a problem. Because no one to check him, no one to correct him. So one day what happened, as he went to take bath and drink some water from the river, he was watching one deer being chased by a lion. Tiger. Yesterday we saw a deer. He was going across the road. So this deer, she was pregnant. And the tiger was chasing. So of course she felt great fear. So to escape from the tiger, she tried to jump across the river. Because she was pregnant and slippery rocks, very forcefully, she hit on the rocks and the baby came out. The baby deer. Straight into the river. When the king stood up, when he saw this, the tiger became afraid and ran away. So the mother was dying, giving up her body and looking at the king. And by eyes she was speaking something. Save my child. This child is in the water. So by providence sake, that baby deer came right next to the king, who took it out of the water. So to be merciful is nice, but excessive mercy also can lead to trouble sometimes. So he should have put the deer and just put it there. What happened will happen. But the thing about deer is very sweet. And Krishna has made everything like that. Otherwise, like babies, even baby chicken, how sweet, no? Cat, kitten, puppy, duck, even baby pig. Otherwise, parents, because how much trouble to look after children, you guys know. No? If children are not sweet, parents would not make the effort. So this is the arrangement of the Lord. Everything small is sweet. Even small, right? When you were small?
Of course.
So the king, he kept the deer with him. And he thought, out of foolishness, Providence has arranged Supreme Lord has arranged this. So he took the deer home, and one thing about a deer, it's like a hot water bottle, warm. So especially cold up there in the Himalayas. So when he would wake up, then the deer is hungry. Instead of doing his meditation and chanting, he would go to the forest and look for some fruit, some soft grass for the deer. Even when he would sit and try to meditate, then the deer would come with its wet nose, soft horns. The king would, he would stop his meditation and take the deer on his lap. In this way, gradually, like a small pond evaporates under the hot sun, the king's mind, his remembrance of Krishna evaporated as he became more and more attached to the baby deer. Even when he would meditate, he would just think of the deer. What's he doing? What time's lunch? What I have to do? Like this. In this way, his remembrance of Krishna was completely spoiled as he became absorbed in the deer. And what happened when deer grows up and reaches puberty? Then he saw some other deer. He ran to join his, family members. Then the king was in separation, lamenting. Because the king had given up everything, his attachment to the deer could not be underestimated. Because he only had one object of attachment. So he became like mad. So in English we say man on the moon. But in India they say rabbit on the moon. Tonight, it's full moon tomorrow night, right? You look, now you've heard it, you look, you'll see the 2 ears, you'll look tomorrow night, you'll see, yes, there is a rabbit on the moon. Sasidara. But the king was so much absorbed in the deer, he thought, my deer is there. This is not rabbit on the moon, this is deer on the moon. He saw some footprints of the deer, then like this. He became like a mad person. O earth, you are very fortunate. You have received the touch of the feet of my deer. Like this, somewhat like a mad person. The king began searching for his deer, but the king forgot about death. But unfortunately, death never forgets about us. And in that frame of mind, while thinking of the deer, while lamenting, the king died. And where did he go? No, this is a big mystery. But, have you heard of Bhagavad Gita?
Yes.
Krishna gives some information on this. Krishna gives example of a flower. When we came in, we saw some nice, what are those flowers over there? Tulips?
Yes.
Anyway, tulips no smell, right? Some nice flower, maybe it's the other side of the room, and the breeze catches the scent and takes it to us. The flower stays in one place, but the essence of the flower, which you cannot see, that is carried by the wind to another place. So time of death, what happens? This body stays in one place. And the soul, which is the essence of the body, but you cannot see, that is carried by the wind, by the mind, to another place. Many times someone talking to us, but our mind is not there, cannot hear anything, right? You're looking at something, but your mind is another place, you cannot see anything. So this is proof. Mind is the king of all senses. If mind is not there, even you see something you don't see. Even you hear something you don't hear. So mind is superior than the senses. It controls them. So in the same way now, in our condition, the soul is superior to the mind because the mind is material. But now, our soul is covered by the mind. Like a jewel you drop in the mud, the jewel everything is there, but it's covered and it seems to be not functioning. That function is covered. So now the real nature of the soul is eternal servant of God, eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. That nature has become covered. And so instead of identifying ourselves as a servant of God, now we're identifying with this mind, these senses, and this body. So at the time of death, what will happen, Rosalind? The mind will carry the soul to its next destination. So where the soul will go, what you think of at the time of death, that will be where you go next life. We're doing many things in our life, but still out of the many things we're doing, one thing is most dear to us, more than anything. For a businessman, it may be his business. For a housewife, it may be her property, her children. For some people, it may be their dog. And what you love the most, you'll think of that. Last year, I was flying to Mexico, and our plane hit some turbulence. And the woman next to me, she screamed like this. And then I was little listening, and she was talking to her friend next to her. And she thought, oh my God, I thought I was going to die. All I could think of was who will feed my dogs? I mean, she was laughing, but I wasn't laughing. What is most dear to her, because she was a little older, so her children already left home. So that attachment she used to have for children, now she put on dog. So Krishna explains this. Yam yam, yo yo yam yam, smriti bhavam chatatanti kerevalam, tam tam vivasasti kuntiya samatad bhavata bhavata. Whatever you think of, Arjuna, that will be your next destination. Like what brought you here? Your mind. Let's go. Then we're hungry, then the mind takes us to the kitchen or the supermarket. Or we're bored, it takes us to the television. Understand? Tired, then the mind takes us to the bed. So mind is doing everything. So therefore Krishna says, so in one sense the mind is the doer in this world. Because we enjoy everything through the senses, through the mind. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "O Arjuna, the controlled mind is the best friend of the soul. An uncontrolled mind is the worst enemy." So of all the species of life, cats, dogs, fish, plant, bacteria, birds, four-legged animals, human being is the only species which can control the mind and senses. No other species has that power. So King Rosalind, unfortunately, when he died, what did he think of? Deer. What happened to him?
He went to Deer Luca.
He took birth as a deer. But because he had also, some mistake was there in his practice, he took birth as a deer. But because he was practicing spiritual life, that is not lost. Everything else is lost. But how much we hear about Krishna, how much we chant his names, how much we read about him, how much we try and do some service for him, that is always with us. Birth after birth, that goes with us. Not lost, like everything else. So the king, some fault, but also he had like 95% pass, but just something at the end. So he took birth as a deer, but he could remember. It means what he was doing, he could remember. Ordinary person cannot remember. We forget. Why we forget? Because we want to forget. We spend our whole life forgetting God. So Krishna gives forgetfulness. And if you want remembrance, then Krishna gives remembrance. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes it, Sarvasya chaham ridi sanavishno, matasmitim jnana pohanamscha, vedescha chaham ahameva vedyo vedakrit vedantakrit evacha. Krishna says, Arjuna, I enter everyone's heart as the super soul. We feel God's presence, that is Krishna. And from me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Very wonderful thing. If you want knowledge of Krishna, who gives knowledge of Krishna? Krishna gives knowledge of Krishna. Inside, some inspiration. If you love someone, you remember them. So you love God and you want to remember him, then who gives remembrance? Krishna gives remembrance. And you want to forget him, who gives forgetfulness?
The mind, I guess.
Krishna. We believe ignorance is also the potency of the Supreme Lord. You want that, he also gives that. You want to forget, he gives forgetfulness. He cannot force. So Bharat, some forgetfulness was there, but most of his life he spent trying to remember. So he took birth as a deer, but he could remember his previous life. And he lamented, "Fool I am. I gave up so much." The king means how much position, how much power. "I gave up millions of cows, properties, castles, soldiers, wives, children for Krishna. But I gave up Krishna for a deer." He lamented. But what to do? A deer cannot, ordinary animal cannot practice, just have to suffer. So Bharat, what did he do? Even as a deer, he had remembrance. So he ran away from his family. And where did he live? The ashrams of the sadhus, the devotees. Because they're vegetarian, he had no fear. If there was a Canadian ashram, he probably wouldn't go there. The sadhus have no cruelty, they're kind to everyone. So without fear, he lived with them. And why? Because what are devotees doing? Saintly persons. Krishna says, "Machita matkata prana bodhayantis parasparam katam rischamam nityam tusyanticha romanticha." Krishna says. When materialists get together, what they talk about? Politics, football, ice hockey. We're in Canada. Huh? Weather. But when great souls come together, what they talk about? Krishna. Krishna, right? All this stuff. Machita. Why? Chitta means heart. They've given their minds to me, their hearts to me. Machita matkata prana. They've given their hearts to me. I am their only destination. I am their only thought. So when two persons like that meet, they talk about me. Tusyanticha romanticha. When they speak about me, they feel happiness, and everyone else feels happiness. Feeling happy, Rosalind? See? Topics of Krishna give this. Who speak about Krishna, they become happy. And who hears, they also become happy. This way they give happiness to everyone. So Bharat spent his life as a deer listening. He could not join in because animal, but listening. And he waited when this body will be finished, when I will get a chance to complete my devotion, perfect my devotion. So he saw a forest fire, he entered into that and gave up the body. Again he got a human form, this time in an aristocratic Brahmin family. Brahmin, understand? Brahmin means, in India they call the caste system, that's what the British called it. But it's not by birth. This is by natural inclination. Some people are naturally inclined towards philosophy. They're called the Brahmins. Some are naturally inclined towards business. They're the Vaishyas. Some are naturally inclined towards military, police, this type of life. And some just want to work for others. This is the Varnashram. Krishna says, Guna Karma Vibhagasa, what they call the caste system. It's not by birth, Krishna says. This is a natural system made by me according to one's activities and one's qualities. So some families' habit, they only cultivate philosophy, spiritual life. So they're called the Brahmanas. So Bharat was very lucky, he took birth in such a Brahminical family. But he remembered his mistake from previous life. So he thought, this life, no more attachment to anyone or anything except Krishna. So deliberately he acted like a fool. What you call the village idiot. In Australia we have some less poetic ways of saying it. The village idiot. He pretended to be retarded, foolish, not retarded, foolish, idiotic. But he was not. He was a self-realized soul. But in this world, if you're too much expert in something, what will happen? Everyone will call, hey, can you do this for me? Can you help me do this? But a fool, no one asks. His father had great hopes. My son will be a great Vedic scholar. With his hope, he was trying to teach his son the Gayatri Mantra. 6 months to learn one mantra. Bharat wouldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Some excuse. So father, also very disappointed, he also died. Bharat's father had 2 wives. So when husband is gone, then the stepwife took over. Then many co-brothers, what you call step-brothers, half-brothers, I guess. Half-brothers. So when they saw Bharat cannot bring any wealth, he cannot do anything around the house. So they would give him the the old food nobody wants, the burnt stuff, yesterday's leftovers. He also would never take bath, and his body he was huge, like a bull. A bull never takes bath, you notice. So he had a huge body like a bull, but he never took baths, so he was always covered in dust. So at first people would try to get him to do some things. Hey, dig this hole. Hey, do this. Anyone would ask him to do anything with great enthusiasm, he would do it, but he would always do it opposite. Dig a hole here. He would dig a hole there and put the earth there, so it would go up more. So finally they just said, just do one service, nighttime. You guard the fields, the rice fields. No, wheat. Before harvest, when it's there, all the animals come to eat, so they gave him a plate and a stick. Nighttime you keep away the pigs, the animals, the deer, like this, the birds. In this way he passed his life unknown to others. Like a fire covered by ashes. Means fire is still hot, but you cannot see because covered by ashes. In the same way he disguised himself by so-called foolish activities. But he was a liberated soul, perfected soul. And one day what happened? Providence. Now India and Pakistan are almost having a war. Who knows what will happen? So before this was all one country, before the British in their genius divided it. They called now Pakistan and Hindustan. But in the middle of those two countries is a river called the Sindh. So the British said who live on this side of the Sindh, they call the Hindus, the Sindhus. Anyway. So what is now called Sindhu Desh, the king of that area, his name was Rahuganath. He was quite hot-tempered fellow. But he had interest in spiritual life. So he was traveling on a palanquin. You know palanquin?
No.
Like what they would carry the kings and wealthy people, they would be carried in these things. I don't know what you call them here. Huh? Like that Chinese pagoda, like that. They had 4 slaves on this side, 4 guys on that, carrying the king. So one of the carriers, he became feverish or sprained his ankle. They could not have, so need 8 guys, 1 guy is sick. They need a replacement. They saw Bharat. Huge. Hey! Come, carry the king. So Bharat, he never said no to anything. So he agreed, and he was carrying the palanquin. So they're going at a great rate, but Bharat, when he looked on the ground, then he would see many insects, ants, and worms. So he would not crush them with his feet, because all our souls, even the body of the ant, soul is there. So he would look, everyone is like brother and sister. Same father, how can I crush them? So he would not step on the ants or the insects, he would step to avoid them. And because he was so big, he would pull everyone else out of line. So palanquin was moving unorthodoxly. So the king inside, he cracked his head 1 or 2 times on the beam. Then he became very angry. Hey! What you guys doing? Carry properly. You don't know who I am? Take care. And kings have so much power at that time. So all the carriers became fearful. King, we are not doing. It's this new guy. He is out of line. What do you say? Out of line. So king looked at Bharat, huge. The king spoke very sarcastic to him. Oh, great personality, very sarcastically. I know you must be very tired because you are carrying this palanquin for a long distance. Actually, he just started. You must be very tired. Take rest, my brother. I know you are carrying properly, but these other guys, these other 7, they're the ones making the mistake, but you are okay like this. I see you are very weak and thin. Therefore you cannot carry properly like this. Very sarcastically the king spoke. He said, but carry properly. take care. I am the king and you are my servant. If you do not carry properly, then I will punish you, even with death. Bharat not answered anything. He would never argue with anyone. He remained silent, and again they began carrying. So our problem is we change every 5 minutes. Happy, sad, what else? Angry, distressed, happy, like this. Hungry, thirsty. So many emotions carries, like dragging us here and there. Eyes dragging, tongue dragging, stomach dragging. But Bharat was not like that. He fixed in one mentality. Like a lion in stone, not move, not change. He was like that. Even the circumstances may change, but they never change. There's one story. There was one saintly person who went to take drink. He saw a scorpion drowning in the bucket of water. So out of compassion, he went to pick up the scorpion to take him out of the bucket, but it bit him, stung him. He dropped it back in the bucket. Again he reached in, again it stung him, again he reached in. Then someone caught his hand. What are you doing? No. You should just leave him. The sadhu said, no. How can I leave him? My nature is to help others. And the scorpion's nature is to sting. So even the scorpion cannot give up his nature in such a difficult circumstance. Why should I give up my nature like this? So Bharat again walking, but again moving in his own way. He have his own vision, his own understanding. Then again the king became very angry because I already gave warning. Fool, are you dead despite the life in your body? You don't know who I am. No. Are you mad? You're hearing my instructions, but you are not listening. Are you mad? No. I will punish you. I will give you death. Carry properly. In this way, many ways, the king insulted him. Bharat, who normally never gave any answer, finally, out of compassion, he spoke to the king. King, I am not the fool, you are the fool. Someone may look very intelligent until they open their mouth. No. There's some poetry, what's it say? A fool remains unknown till he opens his mouth. Like that. How do I know you are foolish? By hearing your words. Your words are full of duality. They do not make sense. You said I must be very tired carrying the palanquin a long distance. But king, you should know I am not the body. Who are we? Are you the body or the soul? When the soul leaves the body cannot answer. The body cannot do anything. So who is the doer?
The mind.
The soul. Soul leaves the body. Brain is there, but mind cannot think. Mind cannot do anything. So even mind depends upon the presence of the soul to act, like a battery. So soul is there. So I am not the body, I am the soul. You said I am very tired, I am carrying this palanquin for a long distance. This is proof you have no self-realization. I am not tired because I am not carrying the palanquin. This body is carrying the palanquin. Lakshman, listening?
Yeah, listening. Job work.
Who's cooking?
The soul. The body. I'm identifying as the soul.
I am not carrying anything. Only this body is carrying the palanquin. I am not doing anything. Therefore, I feel no tiredness at all. I am not fat or thin. I am not strong or weak. This is only the body. These things have nothing to do with me. I am the soul. I am unaffected by hunger, thirst, disease, birth, death, old age, sleep, hunger, lust, dreaming condition. All these only pertain to the body, but not to me. Therefore, I understand, if anyone in this place is a fool, it's you. You have no understanding of who you are or who I am. I know you're foolish because you said, are you mad? I will punish you. Are you dead despite the life in the body? But king, you should know everyone is dead despite the life of the body. This body is already dead. Rosalind, what's the body made of? Atoms. Atoms have no life. So you're already dead. This body is already dead. Where is life in this body? Meat, bone, marrow, lungs, heart, brain, no life there. So, are you dead despite the life in your body? Everyone is dead despite the life in the body. So this way, very nice answer he gave to everything. If I'm mad, then what's the use in punishing me? Like you beat a dead horse, no benefit. If I am mad and you punish me, this means you are stupid because a mad person not change. But king, you should know I am not mad. I am liberated soul. And you said, I am king and you are king and I am your servant, but this is temporary. This life you are king and I am servant, but maybe last life it was different. Last life, who was the king? Bharat was the king. So this is all temporary. Like things seen in a dream. In a dream, many things we see, but we wake up, it doesn't exist anymore. So in this way, Bharat gave very nice instruction on this Atma Tattva. This is first step in spiritual life. Who is God? That's a very long way. But first we should try to understand who are we. If you're the body, why we say my body, my hand, my arm, my hair, my nose. No one says I nose, I hand. Therefore there's a feeling, I am different from the body, I am different from the hand. So the body and the self, the body and the Atma, two separate things. So in this way, Bharat answered philosophically. So as a fool is understood when he opens his mouth, so a knowledgeable person is also understood when they open their mouth. So King realized, I am reading philosophy many years. But what this person is saying is fully in line with all the scriptures. Before I just reading, but this guy has realized. So he is not ordinary. He's looking like some mad person, but he is not mad. He is perfected soul. By his speech he could understand. So King realized, I did a big mistake. No, we believe only one great thing only one big obstacle is there in spiritual life. If we make offense to high class persons, especially spiritual persons. If we do something against them, we will suffer too much. So, in the same way, Bharat realized, the king realized, I did big mistake. This is a high class person, but I made him carry my palanquin, and I abused him so much. So the king, he was also cultivating spiritual life. Immediately the king got down from his palanquin, and what he did, he bowed to Bharat. Forgive me. I am not afraid of anything. I can fight with any demigod. I can fight with death. I am not afraid of death itself. But only one thing I fear. What is that? I fear to make offense. I fear to displease high-class persons. So please forgive me like this. He begged forgiveness. Then many questions the king asked him. Now is not time today, but many instructions Bharat gave him. This Bhagavad Purana, we have many scriptures, but main one is called this Bhagavatam. If you look there in the 12 sections of it. If you get a chance, if you go online, you can look, 5th canto, you can read all these instructions. Then many things Bharat instructed him. So these instructions are like nectar. If you hear these, then it's like medicine. Ordinary medicine you take by mouth or you take by injection, but what is the medicine for repeated birth, death, old age and disease? That is these topics about Krishna, the soul's relationship with God. So in this way, Bharat gave so many nice instructions to the king. King hearing everything but not understand. Many times, like we coming lecture, we hearing but something's going out and we cannot catch everything. So the king said, I not fully understand your example. We are not the body. You are the soul, but I think there's a relation between the soul and the body. And King gave example. Like you put a pot on the fire. The fire heats the pot boils the water cooks the potato. So in the same way, when the suffering comes to the body and the senses, then it goes to the mind, then it goes to the soul. Is it like that? Then Bharat answered, no. You're giving some logic and argument to understand this. But Tarkena Pravishtana, this ordinary material logic cannot understand God or anything just by logic. I can give you another logic. Instead of putting potato, I put a stone. The fire heats the pot heats the water. Would water not cook the stone? So in this way, to understand spiritual life, many times we use like something of this world, some logic, some argument. This is not perfect. Like in this world, everything have a beginning. Then people ask, where is the beginning of God? Where did Krishna come from? But Tarkena Pravishtana. Only this type of logic and argument, we cannot understand everything. So King said, I'm hearing, but why I not fully understand? We're hearing something going in this ear, but 95 going out. So Rahuganatna tapassanatiti natagya naiva jalanta sura bina maha pada rajo bishekam niskinchanatyena vitya. O King, to understand all these topics is not enough just to hear. You have to serve great personalities. You'll have to serve. And their foot dust, by taking their foot dust on your head, then all these material impediments, material attachment, that will be destroyed. And attachment to Krishna will come. So, are there any questions? So what should you think of at the time of death? Mother, what will be the best thing to think of?
The best thing to think of would be
Krishna.
God, right?
And how are you going to think of Him? You have to practice.
Exactly.
So how are you going to practice remembering Him? So that's why our practice is based on chanting these names of Krishna. Hearing about Him, speaking about Him. What you hear about and speak about, you'll become that. You'll become absorbed in that. You know? So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So by chanting these names of God, then you can remember Krishna. Okay, we not spoke too much about Krishna. We probably not spoke about anything about Krishna. At least we can hear something about His name. His name is same as Him.
So
Yes.
where does the name come from?
Krishna. Where does Krishna's name come from? From Krishna. God has a name, no? If you look in the Bible, no mention of the name of God. There is a God, but nobody knows His name. Because the Jewish people say God's name is so high, no one is qualified to chant it. That's why in the Abrahamic religions, no name of God is there.
Yahweh.
If you ask any Jewish person, is that the name of God, they'll laugh. The Jews never say the name of God. So when the Jews mentioned God, Iyayu, that I don't know Hebrew, but Iyayu means His name is so high no one can say.
Yes.
All glory to His, like our Father who art in heaven. But what's His, hallowed be Thy name? Hallowed means His name should be respected. But what is His name? So the Jews say Iyayu, means, and people reading the Bible, Iyayu, Yahweh. But that is, you ask, then why the Jews not call God Yahweh? That the Old Testament is their thing. But they never believe this. Jehovah's Witness, all these things Jews never accept. It's like big misunderstanding of the Bible from non-Jewish people. I'm not Jewish either, but I'm just... So they believe there is a God, but what's His name? What does He look like?
No idea.
If you don't know what He looks like, how can you think of Him? The Bible says God made man in His own image and likeness. That means God also has a human-like form. 2 arms, 2 legs. Who's that? So God is a person. He's not just like steam in the air, but no one can see Him. So Maybe it's not mentioned too much in scriptures like the Quran or Bible. I'm not here to put the knife in any religion, but if we cannot find that thing and one has real inquisitiveness, then he'll go to other scriptures. Like I go to the supermarket, there's no bread. What should I do, starve? Or should I go to another supermarket who has bread? My goal is not the supermarket. My goal is, our goal is not any religion, but the essence of religion. That thing is our goal. So the Vedic scriptures very clearly describe the name, the form, the qualities, the activities. What's God doing now?
No idea.
If we don't know, how can we serve Him? We have our activities in the material world, then why God has...
I guess just loving us.
He has better things to do also. He has His own life. That thing is automatic because we are parts of Him. But not that He's there all day just meditating on you. He has other things to do also. So this name, form, qualities, activities we call lila of God, then for that information we'll have to go to these Vedic scriptures. No? And anyway, at least you can walk away with it. Now I know the name of God. Krishna means all attractive. God has many, many qualities, right? We're talking about the qualities of God. He has unlimited qualities. But what's His best quality is His beauty. Why all the souls go to heaven and what they're doing there, they're being attracted by His beauty. Such is His beauty. Therefore, Krishna. Krish means to attract. And Na means Ananda. So, God, Krishna, by His beauty, He attracts everyone, all the liberated souls towards Him. They're attracted by His sweetness. And what that relationship, that attraction gives one taste, one happiness. So, Krishna. If you chant His name, Krishna, 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 then His form will also come to you. Now we chant Krishna, Krishna, but we cannot see the form of God. But the form of God is inside the name. No? If we chant Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, we'll still be thirsty. But Krishna is not like that. These are material things. But we chant Krishna, Krishna, then we can see Him, we can realize Him. What is His form? What are His qualities? What's He doing? All these things can be realized by meditating on His name. So, Hari Se Bara, Hari Kanam. Only one thing greater than Krishna. What's that? His name. They believe like that.
And what is the Hari part?
Hari. Another name of God is Hari. Well, I can give the easy explanation or the hard one. What do you want?
I like the hard one.
God means with His energy. Like sun means with sunlight. Without sunlight, you cannot see the sun. This world is not God. This is the energy of God. Right? God has not become this towel or this stick or this phone. This is His energy. God has not become the individual souls. This is another energy. So His supreme energy, her name is Hara. So, and Hare means we address God and His energy. Oh, Hara or Radhika. As Krishna is the supreme all-attractive enjoyer, she is the supreme potency, the supreme energy. She is the supreme enjoyer. You can think love personified. Anyway, that's the hard question. In simple language, Hari means to steal. By His beauty, He steals the mind of everyone. So if you say Hari Hari, then Krishna, be careful, He'll steal your mind. He'll steal your heart. Like Bharat, no? 95% stolen, but some little inattention. He became attached to a deer, and the deer stole his mind. Then he had to take birth again. The one whose mind can be attracted to Krishna, stolen by Krishna, then no more. Then, like a fried seed, you fry a seed, it cannot grow again. No? So that mind which really given to Krishna, material things never again come in that mind because fully purified. Anyway, it's all very little bit new, I know, but if you can walk away thinking His name is always with us. So while walking, while sleeping, while eating, and all activities, what are we thinking about? We're mostly 90% just thinking of rubbish. We can think of His name, we can remember His name. Give number one so much taste, so much happiness. It give knowledge, give intelligence, give purity. At the end of the day, give all perfection. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lakshman, what are you doing? The kitchen has stolen you.
Sure, I want to use the blender a minute. Make a dressing. I'll be right out.
Anyway, take a little book. It's a bit of an ocean. Well, I know when we first hear this, it's what do you think? And hear again and again, everything will come to you.
Well, so if everyone is always reincarnated, whether it's to another human form or a different form, is there ever a way out?
By remembering Krishna. If you think of him, then you never take birth again. But you think of something else, you have more attachment for this world than Krishna, you'll take birth again. Yes.
You had said that if we're reincarnated into an animal or a tree, they have no thought.
Thought is there, but covered. Like dog also thinks, but his thinking range is not so great.
But how could they remember Krishna? How could
They cannot.
They cannot.
That's why Bharat, as a deer, he had to wait again for a human birth. Right? So human being is the only species out of all species of life in the universe which can remember Krishna, which can cultivate spiritual life.
So we still have a chance. If we come back as a dog, we still have a chance.
Dog has no chance. You have a chance now.
Okay.
Because in the lower species it's fully covered, but human is not covered. Therefore, the scriptures say there's 8,400,000 different species of life. Like Jalaja, Nava, Lakshma, 900,000 type of fish. Stavanam means fish move, but some species don't move, like plants. 2 million type of plants, trees, flowers. What else? 4-legged animals. Yesterday I saw a groundhog. Never seen one before. There's another one on the list.
The babies are adorable.
Must be. Otherwise, who would look after them? So 4-legged animals, birds, insects, plants. So 8,400,000. But they said of all of them, a human being is most precious. Because it's like a boat. If birth and death is like an ocean, the human form is like a boat. But boat has no captain, cannot reach the destination because it doesn't know where the destination is. So all humans need guru, need some wind, no wind and not going anywhere, need some appropriate spiritual practice to push the boat towards the destination. Like many Hindus know, Krishna is God but not doing anything about it. Like a boat with no wind. So So all the scriptures say, no, it's true this body is also temporary. No. But still in the human form one can achieve freedom from birth and death. Can achieve attachment to God. That chance is not given to any other species. No. So how many more years we have left? 5, 10, who knows, 20? It's my birthday the other day, I don't have many left. Going downhill. So before this body drops, because one day it has to drop, we have to die also. Before this body drops, we should try to cultivate some endeavor to develop attachment to Krishna. Develop attachment to God. People of the Vedic script, this history we told, this is from millions of years ago, from Satya Yuga. But still the Vedic system is so strong, still these histories come down. So before you die, what's your name again? I've asked you 3 times.
It's okay. Lillian.
Lillian.
Just think of Lily.
Lily, the flower. So now you still have time. So this is sounding strange, but deeply, if we think deeply, no, we have to think. No, this knowledge is giving us some direction. Otherwise, like Christianity, there is a God, no one's ever seen him. There is a God, no one knows what he looks like. In heaven, what's everyone doing? No idea. How do I get there? What's my goal? What's the practice? There's belief in God, which is good, but We'll have to go a little more deeper if we want to get these things. Anything else? Are you vegetarians?
No.
Stick that on the bucket list. If we're causing pain and suffering to others, then we'll have to suffer next life.
I'm a meat eater with much guilt.
That's good. Guilt is shame at improper activities, improper actions. That we know it's wrong, but because of habit and family and all these things, we still try and step out of that. Otherwise, all these animals. Today we were coming here, I was looking at all the corn, and I asked Lakshman, where are all this corn's going? Must be going to the animals. You know how much, I don't know Canada, but US must be same. What percentage of corn and soy goes to animal feed in the US? Have a guess.
So
80%.
Yeah, 97%.
97%.
For animal slaughter. People crying about carbon. Forget about the carbon thing. Anyway, so these are some nice first steps we can make. I don't want to suffer. I want to live. I should also give life to others. Don't eat meat. You'll lose a few friends, but don't worry, you'll gain a lot as well. You'll gain a lot.
And why would we have bodies that need the specific amino acids?
Not true. If I gave you a raw animal, you couldn't eat it. A dog can eat. These are not the teeth of meat-eating animals. Vegetarians grind their food. Vegetarian animals grind their food. But crocodiles and horses, their jaws can only move up and down. These are not the teeth or the jaw structure of meat-eating animals. All meat-eating animals sweat through the skin. All meat-eating animals perspire through the tongue, and all vegetarian animals perspire through the skin. Right?
Including gorillas.
Huh?
Gorillas, they perspire through the skin.
Yeah, the gorillas are a little bit non-veg also. But anyway, mostly they eat vegetarian. But all vegetarian animals drink water like this. And all meat eaters, that's why human beings now in modern age have so much diseases. Because they're eating so much meat. And this meat is full of chemicals and hormones. So much pain the animal feels when they're killed.
Yeah.
What's it called? Adrenaline, all that. And you're eating that.
Fear. So much fear.
Fear and disease, all coming from these things. Okay, not going to live forever as a vegetarian. But vegetarians live 7 to 10 years longer than meat eaters. And main thing, if you're eating pure foodstuffs, then you can think properly. Like you put water in a car engine's not going anywhere. So we eat low-class, violent foods, ignorant foods. We cannot think properly. We cannot understand what's right and wrong, what's eternal, what's temporary. Always bewilderment of the mind. No, mind is our friend. We should make mind our friend. But you keep giving it all these rubbish food, your mind cannot think properly. Become vegetarian 1 month, ladies. You'll never go back. You ask anyone who became vegetarian. 1 month, everything fully, the way you see this world will fully change.
So, as vegetarians, then you have to have cultivation. You can't be a hunter-gatherer.
Just go to the supermarket.
But, sure.
Uh-huh.
But there are lots of places that don't have supermarkets.
Like where?
I mean, how are humans supposed to live then?
There's millions of supermarkets in Canada.
Like farmers, like planting and cultivation and
Don't worry.
variety.
Don't worry about the whole world. Just worry about yourself at the moment. I know many. I was just in New Zealand a while ago. There was a guy who owned a commercial dairy farm. A commercial dairy farm. It's huge. Then his wife died. He started thinking, and he became, how can I do all this cow slaughter? So he just stopped. He's an amazing guy. He just stopped it. He lived fine. And especially when you do it in this age, a bad thing is very easy to do. So God always gives some direction. So He also helping. If we try to do a good thing, He also help. Like I went to Guyana and there was a guy coming to the lecture, don't eat fish and eggs. And he said, I have a shop, my main thing I sell is fish and eggs, like sardines and tuna and stuff. I said, well, you got to stop it if you want a good life. You can't be involved in all this. So he just went and chucked it all out. He was worried, how will I live? And he said, like a mirror, he said, my sales doubled. I don't know why everyone just coming to me. So don't worry for that. God's the controller of this world. So we try and do a good thing. He'll always give support. Maybe this is applicable. What you're saying is maybe applicable. I live in the North Pole or something, you know.
That's true.
But that's not now our situation. And for them, maybe some, what's the word? Some discount is given for them. They have no option, but we have so much options.
Right, because they have so little plants.
But that is not our situation, so we don't have to worry too much. Take it? Yes.
You mentioned that we should give our mind to Krishna. Can you explain like how we can give our mind to Krishna?
Easiest way is to chant his names. If you chant his names, you will think of him. Kirtana Prabhav Smarana Hoibe. By Kirtan, you will remember him. Tomorrow is a fast day. If you want to come back for round 2, we'll hear about the great Saint Prahlad Maharaj. That is tomorrow.
So, if you are in the presence of someone who's dying, maybe it's their last hour, how would you speak to them?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In our tradition, when someone dies, people just gather around and just chant the holy names. And then that person who's leaving, that they can absorb their mind in Krishna by remembering. Like when our Gurudev leaving, no pain, no distress, no fear, nothing, just people chanting, happily listening and happily leaving. Because whole life he practicing. So that's how we do. No? These days, what people do when someone's dying, holding their hand, how is that going to possibly help? Give them something to catch. Especially time of death, what you're going to catch. So many thoughts coming. I lost this, why didn't I? So much hankering and why didn't I do this? I could have done that. Mind is full of that. What came and what went. The time of death, we have to clear everything and just fix on our goal.
So as I'm a nurse and I've been with
Right.
a lot of people when
I
they
bet you
die,
have. How much fear they have.
Not much.
Because they're all on drugs and unconscious by painkillers. No?
Some, yes.
Most.
But then there are the near-death experiences and the visions and the discussion about peacefulness and happiness and feeling like you're returning back to a beautiful home.
You want to hear a story?
Yeah.
You'll love this story. I heard this years ago. There was a devotee. Hare Krishna sell books, right? Have you seen them?
No.
Okay, what? You never met a Hare Krishna who gave you a book?
Years ago.
Now the Hare Krishna are also endangered species.
Yes, that's true.
A few years ago I was at the airport and a kid goes, "What's that?" I said, "That's a Hare Krishna." The mother said, "They used to be around in the 70s, but rarely seen these days."
Yeah.
I remember I was listening. I said, "Alive and kicking, madam, don't worry." So devotees, we give out, like a tree, we're not ideal, but we should try to be ideal. Like a tree, everything the tree has is for others. So our knowledge we shouldn't just keep for ourselves, we should also try to give. No? So devotees always chant in public. People don't want to come to the temple, so the temple should go out to them, let them hear something or some books. So anyway, back to the thing. There was a guy in Chicago, this is years ago, and there was a guy in a suit and tie, blah, blah. And the devotee gave him a book, and the guy was like, "Come on, man." I said, "Just look at the pictures." Then he showed him these pictures, and this guy, when he saw the pictures, he became ghostly white, and I heard the guy said he passed stool right there in his pants, just voided himself. I mean, he's just so shocked. And after he cleaned up, they were talking, and the man said, "I had a near-death experience. And I went up, and everything was white-light, and I was going, you know." And he said, "Most people come back from that. But I went to the next stage, no?" So he went past that. No? They said, that's the brain dying or whatever. That nice feeling. Have you ever almost drowned?
I have drowned.
You also felt nice that time, no?
I did. I love it. Yeah.
Or when you faint, you also feel quite nice when you faint. I fainted once. But most people come back from that. But when you really die, you go beyond that. So this man said, I went beyond. So this will sound a bit strange, but anyway. So we believe if someone led a very good life, they have no fear of death. Even if they're not spiritually perfect, like Yamaraj, he's called time. All ancient philosophies have this same figure of time. In this tradition, they call him Yamaraj. No. The Greeks have him. The Chinese have, when I went to Chinese, they all have him. They all worship him. Time factor. So he comes from them, everyone at the time of death. So who led a very good life, then they have nothing to fear. A very attractive form. Come. No, you're going to the celestial planets. Not heaven, but you're going in a good place. But who led very bad life, they'd be so much fearful because time comes to them in the form of a very ferocious form. So you know the Yamadutes, you've heard of them?
The Grim Reaper.
Huh?
The Grim Reaper.
You got him right. I didn't even think of the Grim Reaper. Now I'm going to stick that to my story. But all traditions have this. At the time of death, very fearful come. For who? Low class, like sinful person. So we believe that 3 people come, the Yamadutas, very fearful. So he said, I went past and they grabbed me. 3 persons. And then he was looking at the pictures and he was going, and that was exactly what they looked like, but I didn't know who they were. So he saw them when he went there. Another, you know Kulashekar? Have you heard of that band, Kulashekar? Julian Crispian Mills? His mother is a famous British actor. She's so famous I can't even remember her name. She's quite well known in England. So she was devotee, her son became devotee. He told me this story. No? That's why Time, or the Grim Reaper, he has a scythe. But in Indian text, he has a rope, a noose he throws around your neck and pulls you out.
Yeah.
So when he was at school, he was like 15. This is crazy. I travel a lot, so I get to hear a lot of crazy stories. So he said in school, one girl tried to kill herself by taking pills. And last minute, the ambulance came and pumped her stomach and brought her back to life. What do they call the ECG?
Defibrillator.
Thank you, nurse. And she came back to life. She came back. They revived her. And her friends were asking what happened when you died, and she was talking about it. She said at first, everything was blissful and everything. In the room filled with smoke, someone came and threw a noose around my neck and was pulling me out of the body. And then they came and this guy, he was only 15 years, who was telling this story, and he was there like, that's the Maharaj. Don't come for everyone at the time of death.
I'm fortunate for her.
So many people at the time of death, they feel so much fear and anxiety because the Yamadut is coming for them. But these days, so many people take medicine, they're unconscious, painkillers. They die unconscious. Yes. How do we get on these lovely subjects? Yes. One time there was one man who was a death. One devotee was giving books, and he met a guy who was a death photographer. And what's that? He said, at the time of death I take X-ray and infrared and to find out what happens. And the devotee was saying, oh, so what happens to people at the time of death? He goes, they close their eyes, very peaceful, they go. And the devotee must have been very clever, because he went, really? They don't do this! He shouted at the guy, and the guy, the guy was wet his pants and became full of, yes, that's what they do, so much fear. So much fear at the time of death. Because they know they're going to a whole life they did wrong activities, so they're going in a bad place. But don't worry about it. We do not believe hell is eternal. That much you did nonsense, that much you suffer in hell. But it's not eternal. Again, the soul comes up through the different species, one by one, and then again gets the human form. And if you lead a very good life, devoid of knowledge of God, but like feeding the poor and taking care of the animals, then you go to the celestial planets. But that is also not permanent. That much you did good activities, that long you stay there. And when that stockpile of good activities is finished, karma, again you come to the earth planet. So don't eat meat.
ultimately, do you want to continue to come
No.
to the earth plane?
Get out of here. Even human being is no party, right? Human being also have suffering, obviously. Happiness is there, but not always happy. Suffering is there, but so human chance is a chance to escape it, because all these spiritual practices of chanting Krishna's name, hearing about him, this is only for human beings. Okay. Anything else? So the main thing, we have to fix our mind on Krishna, on God. If you can think of him at the time of death, then the soul have no more desire in this world. Then they go to him. Where Krishna lives? The kingdom of God, spiritual world. And what's Krishna doing? They go there to serve him.
I guess I'm fixated on death. But
Yes. Could you see it all around you, no?
She's surrounded by it.
what about someone who is tortured?
My
And
dad's
killed?
watching.
That's
Someone's what?
Someone who is, they're being murdered. Like,
That means they must have murdered someone in previous life. That reaction has come to them. But generally that's a terrible death too, because how can you think of anything good at that situation? So that time can even take birth as ghost. Ghost is also one type of body. This is called a Kal Mrityu, who commits suicide or murder or maybe a horrible accident, untimely death. That person can even take birth in a ghost body. You believe in ghosts?
I'm not sure.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
I felt one.
I saw one time.
I felt it.
Really?
Huh?
Really?
In Haiti, they're away. But ghost is also one body, like the mind, the soul covered by the mind. This is a subtle body. So who do very bad thing, maybe they cannot get a gross body, they have to suffer in a subtle body. But ghost, this is also one type of body. Yes, if you like death and all these topics, you'll love Hare Krishna. This is one reality. Everyone is fearful of that thing, but no one can escape it. But the time of death, what you're going to think of, where do you go? You have to fix your goal now by hearing. Problem is, we never heard anything about Krishna, so we don't know anything about him. So try to read, try and hear these ancient histories.
But in other religions, like for instance, a Christian would use the word God and would be thinking about God at the time of death.
How can you think of him if you don't know what his name or what he looks like?
Well,
So some more
it's a
information.
creator, the one who created.
But what does the creator look like? The creation has a form. Why the creator doesn't have a form?
It's true that in the Bible it does say that man is made in the image of God.
So God has two
So-
hands, two legs.
So yeah,
That's Krishna, right?
well, you're telling me it is.
The supreme person. The original person.
And then then God is supposed to have been incarnate in a human form, in the
No.
form of Jesus.
No, we don't believe that. God never accepts a material body. That's our difference with the Catholic Church. How can God accept a material body? Why does he need a material body? No.
For the experience to understand what
You
it's
don't
like
have
to
to.
be us.
He's God. He understands everything perfectly as he is. He don't have to come down like that.
And
So
then
we believe
some-
when Krishna comes to this world, the same spiritual form he has in heaven, that same form he comes to this world, unchanged. When he comes to this world, he never accepts a material form. If you read Bhagavad Gita and start studying, you'll hear about it. Can you think of my mother? Because you've never seen her. Okay, I must have a mother, but you've never seen her, no?
No.
Or know her name, so that real attachment or understanding won't come. So the more we hear of God's eternal form, his eternal name, that much our affection for him will increase. But we never hear anything, then God's like vapor or like mist in the sky.
Yes, that's right.
This is one form.
Which is
So
a huge part of confusion for humans.
exactly. You go in the church, there's pictures of everyone. Picture of Jesus, Joseph, Mary, but no picture of God. And how can you fix your mind on it? So we believe Jesus is servant of God, son of God, but not God, because he never said that. If Jesus was God, who was running the universe for 3 days when he was dead. So he was servant of God, son of God. Son and father, two different persons. Son, the obedient son have no desire separate from the father. In that way he's one. But still, father is father and son is son. So the servant of God have no other desire except to serve God, but still, God is God and the servant is the servant. You mix and try and put together, it destroys everything. So original Christianity, you see in the Bible, Jesus never one time said, I'm God. You cannot find. If Jesus is God, why is he crying at Gethsemane? But then he accept the will of God. Okay. Then he accept. This is the beauty. If Jesus was God, that means God came to this world and committed suicide. It doesn't make sense. God never accepts a material body. He doesn't need to. He has his own glory, own spiritual form.
There's the concept, and I'm only developing an interest, but the concept that of original sin, like being a human.
Well, that's a big burden, isn't it? The mistake that Adam and Eve made in the beginning of creation, everyone has to suffer for that. This is like North Korea, right? In North Korea, if you do something, 3 generations of your family have to suffer.
Yes.
That's a ridiculous thing. And number one thing, God had to come and die for the sins of everyone. Why couldn't God just purify everyone? God is such a unique. These are all the blood sacrifice religions. It's purification.
Yes, they are.
These are purification for blood. This is very terrible and low-class thinking.
The fear of God, not the love of God. Do you
It's all
believe in
purified by
Christian-
blood, right? Like Judaism, Islam, they still sacrifice the animal. Judaism, they sacrifice the animal.
Yeah.
These are all the blood religions.
But Jesus was supposed to be the last sacrifice.
Who says that?
No need for sacrifice anymore.
Why would God sacrifice his own son? Is God a psychopath? This is all horrible thinking. We don't believe all this stuff. These are all not Christianity. Jesus never taught all these things. These are all things taught by Paul.
Yes.
Many people say modern Christianity is just Paulism, who never even saw Jesus.
What about the concept of Satan?
We cannot believe there's an all-powerful demon acting against God. Because we believe God is the supreme controller. He controls everything. So ignorance is not separate from God. It's his energy. It's under his full control. Some souls want that, then they choose that. That is their free will. But those souls who don't want that, then why they go to ignorance? They'll go to knowledge. So they call ignorance Satan, like some. But we cannot believe there's anything separate from the Supreme Lord's will. We cannot believe in any mythical beast called Satan. There's definitely demonic people, demonic spirits, 100%. But that's a different thing. There are those souls who fully chose ignorance. Fully bewildered by ignorance, we call them demons, demonic. But that is also not eternal.
No, it's just this life.
Maybe yes.
But I guess
But rectification is there, reformation, there's always a chance for reformation. How many times we've been demonic species, demonic beings, ghosts, we've been all of these things. Then we come out of it, again go back. Anyway, so
and this is the chance that we each have right now.
by hearing about Krishna, you get this chance. Now you can walk away from this, you can choose to remember, or you can choose to forget. Of course, we cannot explain everything in 1 hour. Krishna.
Tomorrow.
But God means, even though he's the oldest person, the original person, he's always youthful. If you go on Google tonight, you have a look, you'll never see a picture of old Krishna. He's always 16 years old. Nava Yovanescha. Even he's the oldest person, he's always youthful, always 16 years old.
So why male energy? Where's female energy?
Female is there, we talked about the sun and the sunlight. Are you male or female? You're neither, you're the soul. But God had male and female aspect, and the shadow of that is this world. Divine love is also there in the spiritual world, between the supreme male and the supreme female. Hare and Krishna. But we are a long way from that. Sex life is also their sex life habits pure. Everything here exists come from God. So everything you see here must be in Him also. So male and female is there also, but in there it's in a pure form. So God is male. Male means the dominator, the enjoyer, the one who desires. And the energy means the female, who serves, who gives enjoyment. The soul is female by nature. But we have given up our femininity as servants, and now we're all trying to be enjoyers and dominators. That's why no soul is happy in this world. So this Purush Bhav, like our Gurudev's Gurudev, he would say, I see no women in this audience. All our men all have Purush Bhav, trying to dominate, try to exploit, try to enjoy. Males doing the same thing, females doing the same thing. So we should try to give up that nature of exploiters and try to become nature of servants. And how can we do? By chanting His names, this change will come. This purification will come. Are you an enjoyer or a servant? What should you be? How can we enjoy? Because everything belongs to God. It's not ours to enjoy. It's His to enjoy. So we're also His. So we should try.
I'm temporal and I'm here and I'm now.
So try, now you have this chance, try to develop your eternal spiritual nature as a servant of God. That is our goal. Right? We are serving Krishna not for any business. I don't want anything in return. I'm serving Krishna just for His pleasure. Ready to sign up? Everything for Him. I am also for Him. That is devotion. Devotion means to give. But our problem is everyone's here trying to collect and take. So that nature, because millions of lifetime we're doing that, is not something we can give up in 1 hour. At least you can hear and understand, my present mood is not good. It's not going to give me a good destination. I should try to change. And how to change? Sadhu Sang Nam Kirtane Matrajai Samsar Janiti Para Arakonu Nasmi. What we're doing now is Sadhu Sang, discussing topics of Krishna. So always try to get a chance to hear about Krishna and always chant His names. Then we'll give up our false mentality and resurrect. Again, remember the soul's original nature as servants. So all souls are servants of one God, that is Krishna. If we adopt that nature, we'll become happy. So try to become vegetarian.
I can definitely understand that.
Right. This is the spirit of pure devotion. Everyone's going to church, and what they're saying, give me something. My grandmother's sick. I have this problem. I have that problem. God's like, we're making God into our servant. So try to become free from all these desires. I have only one desire, to give happiness to Krishna. That's why we're not talking about what Krishna is doing now. What's He doing? He's tasting that this service rendered by the perfected souls, the liberated souls. All souls are not in this world. Some souls are in the kingdom of God. And what are they doing? Krishna is my son. I'm always feeding him, protecting him, cleaning him, teaching him. Like a mother does everything for the benefit of the child. This is also one devotion. Some loving like husband and wife, like in the ideal world, the wife doing everything for the pleasure of the husband. So these all moods come from where? These come from God. And this world is now like a shadow. Original hand have 5 fingers, shadow also have 5 fingers. This world is like a shadow. So try Tamo Jyotirma Tamagam. Tamo Maha Jyotirgama. Come out of darkness, out of shadow, and go to light. Come out of enjoyment, material exploitation, and go towards service. And this service, so what this is called Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means to connect with the Supreme Lord through a mentality of service. The problem with the Christian church, now it's just become a mundane welfare institution.
Oh, please tell me more about what that means.
What is the modern church? Who's even doing it? Like just feeding the poor, feeding the sick. It's like a welfare institution. What they're doing for the soul.
Oh, well,
You feed someone like Mother Teresa. I used to work for her for a while. Mother Teresa's feeding the poor. But what she's feeding them? Chicken and fish. So in the name of doing something good for them, she's actually corrupting them more, giving them more suffering in the future. But there's no knowledge of the soul. They say we can't see God, so just serve the poor person. Why serve the poor person? They're poor for a reason. Why has God made them poor? There must be a cause. Why am I interfering with that? This is not my department. This is his department. So Monday, like you feed someone, but 6 hours later he's hungry again. This is one type of mercy, but the soul, no, but it's not eternal mercy. Real mercy is this, what we're doing now, giving this type of knowledge. But that will take the soul out of all suffering forever. What's the Christian idea of service to God?
If a person is hungry or terribly hurt, they can't think.
Anyway, we'll feed them, no problem, but this is not going to solve their problems. You know? America and Canada have no problem with people starving to death, but why is everyone so miserable? No knowledge of the soul or the soul's eternal relation with God. You know? So that's the real medicine. That's the real solution. Like our Gurudev's Gurudev Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said to take one soul out of birth and death is more kind than opening millions of free hospitals. So like that. Real mercy. What's the Christian idea of service to God? If you look at it from a neutral point of view, they have no concept of it. Their idea of service to God is some moral acts in this world. But in the kingdom of God, there's no morality there. There's no poor people to serve. There's no hungry people to serve there. So what service to God is there in the spiritual world?
I don't think it's moral acts of service in this world. And certainly Jews do not believe in acts of service in this world. It's more...
That's a fact. In Christianity, the idea of service to God is more there. That's a fact. I was talking to one Muslim guy. He was a Shia Muslim, and he was vegetarian, so I was like, whoa. And he was telling me all about this, all about Shia Muslim. And I was listening, then because I always give people a good listen. And I asked him, so what soul, when the soul goes to heaven, Jinnah, paradise, what relation with Allah there? And I'll never forget his face. It was like, I'd never forget it. The idea had never come in his mind even once. Practicing Islam for 30 years, what's the soul's relation with God in heaven? Never come in his mind. Because in Islam, the idea is you just serve God and he gives you unlimited enjoyment. Women to do this and grapes and honey to drink and all. So their religion is just increased material pleasure. But the soul is non-material. So how will material pleasure possibly satisfy the soul? Anyway. That's why I'm not very good at interfaith, but still.
So what would be the answer then?
What will make the soul happy? Not enjoyment in this world, because number one, we're not the body. So savai pum sam paro dharma. What is the supreme religion? Means to serve God for his satisfaction. So the soul also has a body. And the supreme, that is spiritual body. And the Supreme Lord also has a spiritual body. What is perfection? The soul in its original spiritual form renders loving service to Krishna 24/7. Not desiring anything material in return. Imagine what Krishna thinks of such a person. They're cooking for him, cleaning for him, chanting his name, but they don't want anything from him. And Krishna sells himself to such a person. Oh, you've given everything for my happiness, no desire for anything from me? How can I reciprocate with it? They don't want anything from me. Like our Guru says, we don't want Krishna's things. We want Krishna. No? So someone who has no other desire except Krishna's pleasure, how Krishna will reciprocate? Love means two ways. No? So if you give everything to Krishna, what Krishna can give to you? If you don't want anything in return. Then Krishna gives himself to you. I am yours. You purchased me. Ami tu tuma, tumi tu ama. I am yours, And Krishna saying, I am yours and you are mine. Okay, this is the idea of love. Love of God. To the love, you have to exist in the soul. God has to exist and you have to exist. But in what form? Now we don't know, but at least we should hear something of the stage of perfection. We can hear something. And by hearing, we can cultivate some thought in that direction.
Yes.
We can, like the pole, like the North Star. It's millions of miles away, but I have to go this way. Today we're not even talked about Krishna. We're just talking a little bit about reincarnation. So topics of Krishna is like an ocean. When Krishna came here 5,000 years ago, he came to this material world. Why? If Jesus is the Son of God, he could come to this world. If Prophet Muhammad is a servant of God, he could come to this world. Why can't God come personally? It's not banned. He can do it if he wants. So when God personally comes to this world, what he's doing? He's showing. Unless Krishna reveals himself, how will we ever know him?
So isn't Abrahamic God is extra cosmic? That's why he cannot come.
Huh?
I have read that Abrahamic God is extra cosmic.
Is he a eunuch?
And,
God means omniscient, omnipotent. He can do anything. God can't come here. That's just foolishness.
But that's what the thing is.
Yeah.
Like, he's extra cosmic, so he cannot enter his own creation.
What type of God is that? A eunuch? God means anything is possible. Anything is possible. I'll tell you a funny story. It's a little bit related. When the what do you call the Crusades came to Jerusalem, came to the Holy Land, then something happened, and the leader of the Crusaders went to meet, I forget their names, a long time. He went to meet the king of, the king of, anyway, somehow the king of the Muslims met with the king of the Crusaders. I think he went to England or something. I forget all the details, but anyway. So the two kings were talking, the king of England and the Islamic king. And the Islamic guy asked him, so how do you put criminals to death? What's your process? And the English king said, well, they go for a trial, and when they're found guilty, they're hanged. And the Muslim king said, I never seen a hanging. I want to see a hanging. I want to hang someone. Let's show me now. And the English king was like, oh my God, sir, you can't just hang anyone, Can't do that. And then the Muslim king said, what? Just choose one of these guys and hang him. And the English king was like, I can't do that. Then the Muslim king said, then take one of my guys. Hang him. And then the English king said, no, we can't do it. And then the Muslim guy said, you don't know what is the meaning of king. King means he can do anything. I heard that story, I remembered it. So you can't say God can't come in his own creation. What is that? No, why not? Then people think if God comes in this world, he has to accept a material body like everyone else. That's this idea in modern day Christianity.
Yeah, to my understanding, the Abrahamic God is not omnipresent.
But many things, if God is everything, if God is everything must be in him also.
He's not everything. That's the thing. That's what I believe. That's why I assumed too. I projected my understanding.
But when you ask any Muslim, then everything is possible for God. Everything is in him. Yes. Then why he can?
I have listened to the debates. When this point is raised, then they have no answers.
They have no. If everything comes from God and everything has form, why is God formless? They cannot answer one thing. If he's formless, it's a nice way of saying he doesn't exist.
Yeah, they in fact,
right?
I mean, believing this thing is amounts to some kind of
heresy
and sin. That God comes, and like in a truly Muslim state, you'll be executed for saying this.
Yes, that's why when we go to Muslim countries, we don't wear dress like this. But we were talking this morning. Don't think he was saying Islam is very strong. Anyway, but when you go all these countries, Turkey, Iran, everyone, Islam have that. 99% of people realize Islam have no answers also for all these things.
Yeah,
I met them everywhere. They also know Islam have some limit. Good thing is there's a God, they believe in him, that's the good thing. But for more information, if you ask if God is, why is a child born blind? What's the Christian answer? They don't believe in reincarnation. Then they say the will of God. Why would God will that? Is he a psycho? Is it random? Bill Gates
I
aborted
think
in the womb.
They would just say that it's an error of the flesh.
Whose error? God's the controller of everything. That means it's his error. That's why if you believe in God, but you don't accept reincarnation, it's what you cannot explain this world. Why in this world there's someone's happy and someone's distress? If it's everyone's first birth, everyone should get an equal batting opportunity. But no, we see it's not like why one child is aborted in the womb, if that's the first birth. Why? Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there's a book. He writes, if someone's born in a religious family, automatically they would cultivate all these feelings of religiosity and belief in God. If someone born in an irreligious feeling, they'll just cultivate opposite feelings. So if this is everyone's first birth, why would God give someone a chance and someone put them behind the 8 ball in the beginning? It's not fair and not equal to everyone.
That's correct.
Therefore, God is equal to everyone in the sense He's giving everyone exactly what the result of their previous activities. In that way, He's equal and neutral to all. Because He's given everyone exactly what they deserve. So we don't blame God for the miseries of this world. As long as there's meat eating, there'll be wars. As long as there's meat eating, there'll be violence, theft, all these things. Anyway, so believe in God is nice, but if you don't accept reincarnation, you cannot explain this world at all. So, reincarnation gives increased understanding of God. Oh, He's not desiring that. He's just giving the results.
So why would there be an increase in the population? Like why there would have maybe only been, 100,000 humans, and now we're at 7 billion humans.
Presently here. Because all the trees, they're also souls. When they die, they're going to go up into the next species. Don't think there's only humans have souls, right?
Okay. So
how many souls in this glass of water?
So then the
Cheers.
Things are getting better because we have more humans.
Well, they're getting better from you because now today you're hearing about Krishna. Right? But for 99% of the population, they just... How was Canada 100 years ago? 200 years ago in Canada, was there abortion? Was there divorce? Was there public intoxication? So you look at it in that way, society's going down. If you look at it in another way, many people taking advantage of spiritual knowledge. Many people becoming vegetarians, chanting holy name. Like whenever they put this question to my teacher, my guru, the world's going down, end of the world, Guru would always say, no, you cannot say it like that. Because everywhere this Bhagavad Gita, everywhere, before was only a little bit in India, but now it's going everywhere, the whole world's getting an opportunity. So he would always say like that, no, this holy name of Krishna is going everywhere. No? So he would not look at it in a negative way. Look here, Ottawa, end of the earth, but devotees are here.
End of the earth.
End of the earth.
Right? Holy name touching, bit by bit. It's going out. Yes, Tika. Anything else?
I would like to let you know, Maharaj, that Carla has brought you an offering of Pushpanjali. She brought you flowers, and also has gone out to collect with some elbow grease, some violets for your guru.
Okay. We can keep for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Nrsingadev's appearance day.
For Nrsinga, oh, even better. Can you explain this,
Come on.
Yes, please, Maharaj, so she understands how Krishna protects his devotees.
Anyway, we'll just stick to Krishna tonight. We start explaining other incarnations. Gets a bit much.
Okay, so
Tomorrow's subject is for tomorrow. Anyway, take a little. Do we have the box of books? We'll give one. We'll give you 2 little books you take to read. Are you retired now?
Yeah, we have.
No.
Come to India for a month.
I would happily do that.
October.
October.
oh, yeah.
Sign her up for Kartik. October is one special month, and in Vrindavan, that's where Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. There's a city of 20,000 temples. There's no meat, there's no alcohol, there's no onion garlic, there's no eggs. There's none of everyone. We seem weird because here there's only a few people chanting, but there you'll see everyone chanting Krishna's name. Millions and millions of people. If you come in October,
It sounded beautiful with just a few people too. So.
and I'm a low class person, but some high class person speak about Krishna, you'll have some other feelings. They have direct realization.
Is this the same? I'm unsure. Because I've been listening to Sadhguru.
Sadhguru on YouTube. Yeah.
Yes. And was thinking of doing his inner engineering course.
No,
it's not the same.
Separate. Because we believe every guru should have a guru. Not like everything I'm teaching you, where did it come from? This came from our Gurudev. And where did he get it from? His guru. Where did he get it from? His guru, right? So this goes back to the beginning of creation. Sounds impossible, but this is God's system, how we get knowledge. So he always makes sure it's protected. He always makes sure at least one qualified person in this world who can take this message and then present it. But you ask the Sadhguru, who's his guru? Silence. He has no guru.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So he may be doing whatever he's doing, but it's not perfect spiritual knowledge. He's just teaching something in this world. But I don't know too much what he's teaching. I cannot say anything, but no connection is there to these type of teachings. Okay, here you go. Take a little book.
I was curious.
Yes, I hope it didn't destroy your curiosity. Take this, give them little book. Just a little introduction. Any questions more? Today's Sunday, right? We got all day.
Saturday.
Lakshman, what are you doing?
We're ready to make the offering.
Okay. What are you doing? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Where's the Madanga now? Madanga? What? Okay. Surprise me.
Yeah.
How long have you been chanting for? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hari